like a secret voice I didn't give to you. And well, our old friend, why are you?
Experience the sights, sounds and smells of medieval Nottingham and live my legends for yourself at the Robin Hood Legacy.
My business is handmade glass, lampwork, jewellery, and my company name is Beeden, as in the Garden of Beeden. I was always collecting items and objects and beads when I was younger. I was quite obsessive about it, really. And once I then had the objects and materials, it just seemed natural to go on to the actual construction and production of wearable pieces. Like, I've always been fascinated by body adornment and colourful items of clothing and accessories. It's something that's always interested me. So it just felt like a natural progression to actually make those pieces myself and see where my creativity could take me. I think Nottingham is one of the most creative cities I've ever been in, had the privilege to live in and call my home. I'm originally from Yorkshire and I've only been here for 5 years, but what I've seen since I've been here, what I've experienced has been overwhelmingly positive in terms of the creative passions and the opportunities and the avenues that we have here. And right where we are now in the shop, it's filled with products that are made solely by people in the local area. The widest area I've gone to is the Midlands, so everything is kind of as local as possible, and it's at least 90% homemade and handmade products. So it just goes to show all of the amazing skills and talents and the variety that we have here in craft, art, design. There's just so much to offer, and I want to give as many people the platform to sell their wares as possible.
Well, Rebalancing the Outer Estates is a new charity that was set up by Graham Allen, the MP for Nottingham North, and it's all about making Nottingham North a great place, a brilliant place to live, to grow up and to grow old. And for me, my role within Rebalancing is to develop creativity. It's so important in people's lives to have a means of creative expression and a place to go, to socialise and to just fulfil your creative potential.
So I design greetings cards and publish them as well.
How did you actually get started in this business?
I've been doing it for a really long time actually. I started being self-employed about 20 years ago. And I started out in textiles and I've changed direction a number of times. But the whole greetings card side of things started in about 2010. I suppose it's kind of a progression really from... Really my main aim was to try and find a product that people would buy, something that was... So I started doing big pictures, so it's more like fine art in embroidered pictures. But it's quite a limited market because a lot of people couldn't afford them. So I sort of developed, I was all the while looking for a product which ended up being greetings cards, which obviously a lot of people, most people couldn't afford a greetings card. At that point I was working at home, and that's outside of the city, outside of the area that the Creative Quarter could help with. But now I'm in the studio actually in the Creative Quarter. So, they are there to help. They're very supportive now, yeah.
Some of the creative projects that we've been developing over this last 6 months have been to support things like Bulwell Arts Festival, which is a week-long festival of creativity, local creativity. Local artists are able to put their art in shop windows for the week, and we have musicians and performances in unusual places. Schools get involved, and we have a big open launch day. We had amazing poetry and produced a poetry booklet for that. So there's all kinds of things around the Bulwell Arts Festival that happened in July this year.
I'm the project lead here at the Broadway Cinema, and I've been appointed to look after a new initiative funded by the British Film Institute. We're looking to run a new pilot film project in Nottingham North in 2017, all about focusing on community cinema. So we're going to recruit individual volunteers and train them and mentor them to run their own community cinemas all over North Nottinghamshire.
So why do you think this is important?
So I think this project is important because we want to encourage all types of different people to engage with cinema.
My role is about developing partnerships with the city arts organisations and making sure that they're delivering outreach projects and engaging audiences that live in the outer estates. So from a very broad level, that people are aware of that they get on the tram and the bus and they go into the city centre and are able to go and see galleries and the theatre and take advantage of the opportunities that are there. But at the same time recognising that, there are reasons why people don't do that now, and that people aren't engaging because it's expensive, and it's just often people just don't feel like it's for them. So we have to develop strategies to engage new audiences and to develop people's own creativity that's within everybody. I'm sure that everybody's got a creative spark somewhere. Everybody has high aspirations when they're younger, and all 8-year-olds want to be astronauts or do something wonderful, and we need to make sure that that's not, that is kept alive as they go into their teenage years and adulthood, and that there are opportunities for people to turn their ideas into action and businesses, and people can develop brilliant creative ideas and make money and make a living from them. So we need to make those connections with city arts organisations that can mentor and support creative people in the outer estates, and we need there to be places to go within the communities and neighbourhoods in Nottingham North, in Basford, in Bulwell, in Bulwell Forest, Bestwood, Bilborough and Aspley, in those 6 wards that make up Nottingham North, to make sure that we've got vibrant open spaces, that we've got great libraries with lots of opportunities, that there are just myriad things that there are to do and to see. But at the moment, unfortunately, there are pockets of activity, but not a really coordinated approach, and that's what my job's all about.
My name's Laura Jade Bourne. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager at New Art Exchange. New Art Exchange initially started as 2 organisations, APNA and AMACA. So there was an emphasis with those 2 groups about the South Asian and the African and Caribbean communities. So even the organisation now has stayed very rooted with community. We show global arts, we show fantastic international, big national names, but at the same time we always make sure that there's ties with our local community. We make sure that we represent the local demographic, and we're so lucky being here in Hyson Green because it's such a culturally rich and stimulating area to bring art to. I think we're really lucky in Nottingham that there's so many great creative spaces. We've got some great galleries, of course, Contemporary, Bonington, Lakeside, and then lots of arts galleries as well that have been started by Nottingham Trent's fantastic students. So Backlit, Thoresby Street, then you've got spaces like Surface Gallery, Primary. So really there's just like an abundance of different things going on. And we're lucky that we've got papers such as Left Lion that manages to show the great cultural offer of the city. Creative Quarter are doing fantastic work. We're seeing more and more creative spaces popping up each day. So yes, it's just a very stimulating place to be in. Also, we've got the Real Creative Future programme at New Art Exchange, and that helps creatives in the city develop their own business as well. So we're helping Nottingham's cultural ecology through that. Yeah.
The Lace Market Theatre began in the 1920s with two societies, the Philodramatic Society and the Playgoers Group, who amalgamated in the 1940s. They then had a theatre down in St Anne's, but when they had slum clearance down there, they had to move out, and so in 1970 they bought this building, which was an old chapel, and they were then the Nottingham Theatre Club in the Lace Market Theatre. In about 1978, they formed a charitable trust called the Lace Market Theatre Trust, which was quite separate from the Nottingham Theatre Club, in order to be able to build an extension on the back of the existing theatre. And the club and the trust amalgamated in 2004 to form the Lace Market Theatre Trust. With the Lace Markets Theatre does give opportunities for people to try things out. We've had one or two who've gone on to professional acting, but they're very few and far between, because of course Nottingham isn't the place to be to get known in the professional theatre. But we have had some people go on in things like, we've got one woman who went on and she's now freelance stage manager, having started stage managing here. These are some of the costumes for Bronte, which is our next production, which opens on November the 14th.
This is a suit what I made. I've been doing sewing for 7 years, and then also it was all started when I was started to doing an art design course at Broxton College, and then now it's changing to Central College. In the past, did the art design degree, diploma, and then we get to specialising in different variation, different range of specialisms. So you got painting, design, architecture, sculpturing, textiles, like what we're doing here, and fashion. So when I got into my second year of the course, that's when I've got the passion and the love for making clothes, the tailoring, and also being expressive, being unique and different as well. The creativity in Nottingham is absolutely fantastic, because as well, a lot of creators, people coming from Nottingham, such as we got Samuel Morley, who is in the past with giving the textiles industry. British designer Paul Smith, he comes from Nottingham as well, and he has his own fashion line.